So my name's Natalia Bertotti.
I'm Michael Garlington. I think I've always made art from the moments that I remember. My life changed completely when I met Natalia.
I met Mike for the first time out at Burning Man, but I met his art before that because he had this van that was covered in
photographs. My first sort of photo sculpture was my van. And this blonde, tall blonde, runs up to my photo van, looks in the car and says, "Hey,
I've always seen your car around town." Like, I really liked the photographs, like it was really interesting.
And I said, "Oh no, really, I'm Mike. Oh, I'm Natalia."
He told me, "Oh, come by the studio sometime."
She came by and I said, "Come in, you know, I'm making art here, this is what I do."
And he was in a relationship and I was married then.
We just worked without any of those thoughts in mind or the tensions that brings.
And pretty much working in silence almost. Like,
we didn't talk very much, we just kind of could just do it.
And I was curious about what it would be like to become an artist. So the way I look at art is kind of just like everything I do is my art. I'm even art. For me, the biggest piece I worked on with Mike was Photo Chapel, and that was in 2013. That was a piece for Burning Man that you could walk into. That was the first time I was able to go out to Burning Man before the event began and help install it and put it all together. And then after that is when we were together as a couple and we turned this photo booth into a confessional that sat here at the ranch. And that became a centerpiece in the Totem of Confessions, which we built in 2015 for Burning Man. And then from that piece, we were starting to get museum commissions. So we built the Spire of Babel with a paper arch. So those are the big pieces.
When she started working with Mike, it kind of opened up a whole nother side of her to sort of go do something like that on a very daily basis.
I think we both have just like pushed each other to kind of try different mediums. Working with Mike for me has definitely boosted my confidence to be like, yeah, I can take that on, or try to do something that I know nothing about. Like, we'll figure it out together. And we're both each other's probably toughest critics. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we just have fights of just like, is this about the artwork or is this about something else that is coming out as like you're critiquing this? There are moments that are not easy, and then there are moments that are so much freaking fun. God, I totally did not think I'd be working with him at all again after the paper arch. Like, that was a really hard project to work through, actually. And I mean, that one and the Spire of Babel, we were definitely going through lots of turmoil. Personally, I mean, we managed to pull it through professionally and bring a finished product. And I mean, most people wouldn't have even known anything was going on outside of us.
Of course, I mean, there's a great sadness to some degree to not be back in that place that we were. But then with reflection, I see this is the place that we are.
You know, we used to have conversations about it in the evenings here, and, you know, I'd ask her, you know, how are things going? You know, how are you feeling? You know, being apart from the relationship and then working together. And it was really difficult at first because of the emotional, you know, connection that they have. And I think it's probably made them better friends in the long run of it.
In these relationships that I've been in, I just feel like I've lost some of my own voice as for what I wanted to do. And so now I'm just trying to kind of listen to that inner voice and follow that path. I've
just seen her become a lot more stronger, and, you know, she does things on her own, so it's not just things that she does with Mike.
For so long, Natalia has said she really wants to pave her own path. I'm so happy for her, because it's seeing her doing these things and hitting it proactive like she always has makes me super proud. They're allergies.
So I got involved at Gathering Time because I saw on the window that they offered a 9-month program for learning all about Western herbalism. And in the first class, I thought it was really interesting how it's just like to learn all about the different herbs that can just like subtly help whether you have an illness or not. There's even ones that help just kind of keep you at your strongest in terms of your immune system. I enrolled in that program during a time when it was really tough with Mike and I do love to make art. I think maybe for a time I'm pulling back from that, but I think I'll always be involved in some senses or involved in different projects as they come up. So we were deinstalling the Shrine of Shiva today to relocate it from within the dispensary. A natural cannabis company commissioned us to build an art piece called the Shrine of Shiva. And at those art shows, it's typically like everybody kind of has like white walls. But what we did is we made like the totally black wallpaper. And so people are just kind of just being like, whoa, what is going on here? And when we're disassembling it, we're like, oh yeah, that's how we did it. That's how it's like, because we're trying to get through it, we kind of just like forget some of the details until we go back and do it again. The plans for the back wall are to have the Shrine of Shiva as the centerpiece, and then flanking it are going to be art boxes that are kind of pop-out worlds, typical to what we've done with the paper and art. Plus they have all the peepholes you can look into. They say that the people that are brave will go up and look into the eye holes. The people that would look into it would be just like totally into it and blown away. And then up above is just going to be kind of a free-for-all of whatever we want to put in there, incorporating pieces that they already own of ours as well as making new things. It's kind of just going to transform the whole look and feel of the dispensary. Oh, and then there's the fountain too as well. Got commissioned to build this fountain for a woman who lives in Petaluma, and they live on D Street in Petaluma, which is a pretty historic neighborhood. Pretty much just said she wanted to have it in the shades of blue, so it really left us open for what we could design for it. And then she's from South Africa, so we brought in different aspects of what we felt kind of South Africa and Africa in general, I don't know, inspired us to put an elephant on it because that was her favorite animal, and some giraffes. And we did a lot of tribal masks. And also on the front we did a lion family to represent their family, the husband, wife, and 2 kids. Just recently their dog Kenzie passed away, so we made an urn that sits in the garden, and it has Kenzie's ashes within it, and it also has his paw prints. The way I look at it now, it's like my art is learning about plants and making herbal medicines and planting things in the garden. So in that sense, it's like I love to build and create and make things in collaboration with Mike. And he's even helping me to make and create a garden here at the ranch, which is awesome because I need help to do it because it's a lot of like manual labor and work. Again, it's like we can work and do these things. We have a language. We have been gardening here at Bertotti, and that's really excellent. It's so therapeutic. And I think that is something that both of us love to do, is just physical work. And that's just like that saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, and that is how I feel.